she's she's upset that you're leave. Come on, she's upset that you canceled the wedding. Nobody wants an open marriage, open relationship. And she played her cards right. She was hiding all of that stuff. And you found out. You found out when you looked in that diary.
Ex-fiancée demanded open marriage, saying it'll benefit me. I made her single. Goodbye, and don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. I can't believe my ex-fiancée thought asking me for an open marriage would go over well. I don't give a damn that your daddy paid for everything. Oh well, get the F out of my house. I don't know what's wrong with people these days. Yes, I say people. I'm talking about men and women. Everybody just betrays everyone. I've known guys that betrayed women, and they disgust me. I've known other women that betrayed men. I cut them off also. Anytime any woman in the past has given me any form of a red flag, I acted on it. I interrogated, and I made a decision to move on. I don't take any crap. I'm not saying I'm some perfect badass, but you're not going to waste my time. My ex-fiancée was my longest relationship. Obviously, she made it past a lot. She proved herself, and I thought that she would be a woman worth marrying. Only thing that bothered me about my ex-fiancée, she could not cook at all. She was a horrible cook. I've tried her food. It's the worst. You know the joke when they tell us white people we make potato salad with raisins. Now, growing up, I've never seen that in my life, but I always found that joke funny. That's my ex-fiancée, Beverly. I still to this day wonder if she did this on purpose because it's a funny joke. But she once brought potato salad to a family function, a barbecue. She put raisins in it. Now, before we left her place, I don't remember seeing any raisins, but when we got to the barbecue, it was topped with raisins. Everyone laughed because everyone in the family has heard that joke. White people can't cook. We don't season our food, which is a lie. I mean, I've eaten at friends' houses, and the potatoes were pretty bland, and the chicken wasn't seasoned. I've experienced that before, but most people I know, which are white, my family and friends, they all can cook. I don't know very many white people that can't cook except Beverly. Beverly literally can't make anything. She follows cookbook recipes and everything. I've tried to guide her to do something. She just can't do it, and she gets frustrated. She's very lazy when it comes to cooking. Anything else she's amazing at, but cooking is not her thing. Her mother tried to teach her how to cook growing up. It never worked according to their family. She said her parents are both great cooks, but Beverly, she just can't do it, and she has no desire for it. That wasn't enough for me to not date her. Even though I come from a family of cooks, well, actually a family of chefs, my family owns a restaurant. We are big on cooking in my family. Everyone can cook, even the children. I started cooking when I was 13 years old. I can do it all, but Beverly, my ex, not at all. She definitely did not win me over with her cooking. Our second date, she tried to cook for me. I looked into her eyes and I told her, don't ever step in the kitchen again and try to cook anything. It was a complete disaster. I remember asking her, how does she survive? What do you eat? I started looking through her cabinets. She didn't have plates or anything, which explained why we were eating on paper plates and using plastic silverware. She told me she never cooks. She eats out, but she tries to eat at clean restaurants, meaning foods that aren't super processed. She was in good shape. She wasn't fat at all. Actually, she did OMAD before it was even a thing. I remember her telling me she's always eaten just once a day, but she's always made sure she ate heavy on the vegetable side. So that was one thing about my ex-fiancée, but that wasn't enough to keep me from wanting to date her. I'm a good cook, and I do like to eat out sometimes. So, if we were going to cook, I knew it would be me, which wasn't a problem because I actually enjoyed doing it. So, after that day, we actually dated monogamously for 2 years before we got engaged. By this time, we both had met each other's families. Everyone just loved each other, and I really did love Beverly. She was a good girl, very smart, very funny, and she wanted children. I wanted at least 2 children. I wasn't going to just have a kid with anybody. I wanted to be married to the woman I was going to have children with. If I wanted to just have a kid, I would have had a kid a long time ago. A lot of women I dealt with just weren't worth it. Girls' night out trips, locking their phone, keeping it on vibrate, things like that were just red flags, and I didn't let slide. I walked away, but with Beverly, she was nothing like that. We had full access to each other's phones. She never went out to girls' night out or took girls' trips. Never even wanted to, as far as I knew. There was an incident about Paris, but Beverly seemed okay with not going with her friends on that trip. I just never suspected her of cheating. When I found out why, she asked me the stupid question. It made me even angrier. So, I did notice that she was getting into some books about sexuality. I read through some. The books were Epistemology of the Closet, Eve Sedgwick, Female Masculinity, Judith Halberstam, The Hearts of Men, Barbara Ehrenreich, The Lesbian and Gay Studies Reader, Henry Abelov, Michelle Aine Barale, and David Halperin, Gender Outlaw, Kate Bornstein. I confronted her and asked her why she was reading these books. She told me she found them interesting and started asking me if I was judging her for it. Not in a defensive way, but more like a, I'm sorry for reading this, if you want me to stop, I will, type of way. I told her she could read whatever she wants. I was just asking. I noticed that she was focused on a specific genre. I don't know what in these books made her think that I needed an open marriage, but I don't. That's not something I want or need, but I did do some snooping after I kicked her out, and I realized that she kind of was lying. She was making it seem like she wanted me to have an open marriage. Really, it was for her to explore also. She wrote it in her diary, but not quite those words. Then she started watching these movies that look like they probably belong on the app Tubi, if anyone has ever heard of it. The 2 movies are Vicky Cristina Barcelona and Summer Lovers, movies about basically swapping. I definitely was taking notice of this, but I still would not have thought that she would ask me for an open marriage. I guess these are red flags I ignored. Maybe people in the comments would say, you should have called off the wedding when she started reading these books or watching these movies. I don't know, I didn't. But as soon as she asked me, it was over. I overheard her talking to a friend about how all men cheat. Now Beverly kept saying it wasn't true, but her friend Bridget was saying otherwise. Beverly had the call on the speakerphone when her friend called, and I sat by the door and listened. This is embarrassing, but I even recorded the conversation. I've listened back to it prior to my ex asking for the open marriage. Maybe I have serious trust issues. I don't know, but basically, this is how the conversation went after 5 minutes on the phone. Bridget, so Bev, what's up? How's Mark treating you these days? Beverly, glad you asked, Bridget. He's great, as always. He surprised me with dinner last night. You know how he is, always full of sweet gestures. Bridget, that's cute, I guess. But Bev, come on. You know they're all the same in the end. Beverly, who? All men? Bridget, exactly. Every single one of them cheats. Sooner or later, they all slip up. You're lucky if you just don't find out about it. Beverly, oh, here we go again. Bridge, you can't generalize like that. Not every guy cheats. Bridget, oh, really? Name one who hasn't, or at least hasn't thought about it. Beverly, my dad, for starters. He was devoted to my mom for 40 years. Never a hint of infidelity. Bridget, that you know of. Look, Bev, they're just good at hiding it sometimes. It's in their DNA. Can't help themselves. Beverly, that's a really cynical way of looking at relationships. I think trust and commitment matter. Not every man is out there sneaking around. Bridget, it's not cynical, it's realistic. I've seen too much to believe otherwise. Look at Lauren's husband. She thought he was a saint, and bam. Found out he's got another woman on the side. Beverly, that's terrible. but it doesn't mean Mark or every other guy is doing the same thing. Relationships are about individuals, not stereotypes. Bridget, I get where you're coming from, but I just can't trust any of them. I'd rather assume the worst and not be disappointed. Beverly, and I'd rather trust until I have a reason not to. Life's too short to live like that, Bridgie. Mark hasn't given me a single reason to doubt him, so why should I? Bridget, I just don't want you to get hurt, Bev. You're my friend, and I care about you. Beverly, I know, and I appreciate that. But not every relationship ends in betrayal. I believe in love, Bridgie, and I think you should too. Bridget, maybe, but I'm still keeping my guard up. Beverly, fair enough. Just don't let your guard keep you from letting someone in someday. You deserve to be happy too. Bridget, thanks, Bev. Maybe you'll prove me wrong one day with Mark. Beverly, I'm counting on it. This may be weird, but I ran into Miss Bridgie, and I actually brought up the conversation she had with my ex. I was curious to why she was saying these things, and if she had a problem with me because I don't allow girls' night outs, etc. Me. Hey, Bridget. Long time no talk too. Bridget. I wonder why. When are you finally going to take the chains off of my friend? We don't always have to meet when you're around. Me. I don't put chains on people. What's your attitude with me? Bridget. Look, since you're asking, I think you're very controlling. It's giving weak and insecure. Man, she was on 100 from the beginning. I kept my composure. Me. So that's why you think I'm a cheater. Because I'm controlling. Bridget. It's about how you treat my friend. You know, she used to be my best friend, and I can't just stand by if something feels off. Me. That's fair. I care about her deeply, but you are completely wrong about me. But I respect your honesty. Continue. She just repeated herself. Bridget. Okay, well, I feel like you're a bit too controlling sometimes. Beverly mentioned she wanted to go on a girls' trip, and it sounds like you weren't exactly supportive. Me. I wouldn't say I'm controlling. I just think some of these trips can be risky, and I worry about her. It's not that I don't trust her. It's the situations that can arise. Bridget. But that's the thing, Mark. She's an adult who can take care of herself. You worrying is natural, but stopping her from doing something she loves isn't fair. Me. I never stopped her. I just expressed my concerns. Maybe a bit strongly. Bridget. Mark, she feels like she has to tiptoe around you about these things. That's not the kind of partnership she deserves, or honestly, the kind you probably want either. Me. Listen, I overheard your conversation about me being a cheater. It's nonsense, Bridget. You are freaking crazy. Monitoring her phone calls is beyond insecure. If she goes through with marrying you, just know that you ruined a great friendship. Me. All right, have a wonderful day, Bridgie. Bridget. Don't call me that. F you. My ex-fiancée never said a word about me having this conversation with her friend. I don't know if her friend ever told her. It doesn't really matter, but I figured she'd go calling her and telling her to leave me alone. I think she actually just started leaving her alone right then and there. She really didn't like me. Listen, I never told my ex-fiancée that you will not do this, and you will not do that. She just believed me and understood when I told her that I did not like those things. I've experienced things like that, and I got cheated on. I got betrayed, and I'm not trying to go through that again. My ex-fiancée understood that, so her walking on her tippy toes, trying not to hurt my feelings or anything, is absurd. She seemed very comfortable around me, and she was very comfortable not going to Paris when she brought it up to me. Now, if it was a big group thing where the girls were taking their boyfriends, then yeah, I would have been all for it, and I would have paid for us. But her going to Paris by herself with these girls that I barely knew, it just didn't rub me the right way. But you have to understand. I didn't tell her no. I just didn't feel comfortable with her doing it. And she told me, you know what? If it's going to be my first time going to Paris, then I want to go with you. Someone I love. That put a smile on my face. I love when she said that. She never seemed like she was on edge, and I didn't know what her friend was talking about. So let me get to when my ex-fiance had the nerve to ask me for an open marriage. Once we're married, well, technically, she wanted to start it immediately. She told me she's asking for an open marriage for a variety of reasons, including wanting me to explore different aspects of my sexuality, address unmet sexual needs within the relationship, prioritize personal autonomy, and to feel more freedom in our relationship. She claimed simply men aren't meant to be monogamous, and this is a fulfilling way for a great partnership. When she said this, I immediately escorted her out. Like, what the heck? She also was saying on the way out that I clearly don't know how to be a real man if I only want to be with one woman. I was actually surprised she came crawling back because I figured she was just trying to sabotage our relationship. When she first got in contact with me, she was trying to let me know how upset her father was. She started off saying that he was disappointed in me and he didn't think I was this type of guy. I asked my ex-fiancée. I said, so did you tell him why I took back the engagement ring and canceled the wedding? She said that she did. She told him everything. I said, really? Okay. Well, let me call you back. I called her father when he realized it was me. He decided to get all macho, telling me that I was a coward and I made his daughter sad and he spent so much money. I said, sir, do you realize why I canceled the wedding? Why I no longer want to marry your daughter? He said, yeah, because I found another girlfriend that I thought was more attractive than his own daughter. This man is telling me how beautiful his girl is and how any man would be lucky to be with her, and I'm a fool returning her down for someone I think is better looking. I must be on some type of drug. I was so confused. I said, there is no way my ex-fiancée told her father this is why we're breaking up. I said, sir, that is not why I ended the engagement with your daughter. I don't have another woman. I'm not interested in another woman. I loved your daughter, sir. I truly did. That's why I asked her to marry me. The reason I canceled our wedding and I took back my engagement ring is because your beautiful, sweet young daughter asked me if we can have an open marriage. Do you know what that means, sir? Don't say anything. I'll tell you. It means she wants to have sex with other men while being married to me. It means she's okay with me having sex with other women. Now, sir, if your wife wants to ask you that before you guys married, would you have married her? This man called me a liar and said I made things up. His daughter would never ask for such thing. She probably doesn't even know what an open marriage is. I said, sir, it was really nice knowing you. You are a great guy, but I'm starting to realize that you're a complete idiot. Take care. The last thing I heard before ending the call was, why I oughta. I started to block everybody on everything. That didn't stop my ex from trying to contact me. She'd come and try to catch me going to work, after work. I even ran into her at a grocery store. I avoided her like the plague. I don't even look at her. I know she's there. She's calling my name. She's up on me, but I act like she doesn't exist. That breaks her down. She cried and cried at this grocery store, embarrassing herself while I'm in the checkout line. Please don't do this to me. I'm sorry. I just filled my head with a bunch of nonsense, but now I realize that it wasn't worth it. I'm not like the other girls, I promise you. You don't have to cut me off. We're supposed to get married. Everything's already paid for. One guy in line looked back at me and said, man, come on. Clearly she's sorry, dude. If you don't take her back, then I'm going to go get her myself. I said to that man, you can have her. It was some old 50-year-old man, probably older. He started trying to calm down my ex-fiancée. She didn't want any parts of him. Even yelled at him saying, get off of me already. That old horn dog thought he had one right there. I wasn't trying to play Mr. Tough Guy or anything like that. I was done with my ex-fiancée. I didn't want her anymore, like I said earlier in the email. Maybe I do have insecurity issues. I just expect people to do me wrong the second anything happens. Any form of a red flag, I'm out of there. I truly was in love with my ex-fiancée. It took a lot for me to stand up for myself, taking the ring back and canceling the wedding, but I'm glad I did. If she's asking you for an open marriage, there's either someone else or she wants someone else. How I know this exactly? Well, let me tell you, my ex-fiancée forgot all about her diary. She brought it over to my house the last time she was there. She actually wanted to read something out of it from her past. She wanted to read it to me. I thought it was cute. It was cool, but this was hours before she asked me for the open marriage. Anyway, she ended up leaving it there at my place in my bedroom, and I went inside it and I read it. Sure enough, she was heavily invested in this open marriage concept, and she was fully convinced that as we grow as humans, we need to explore our sexuality. It started to get bad. She really felt that you couldn't do the same thing sexually for a year. 365 days. You had to advance your sexuality annually, even sleeping with the same sex, and that goes for men and women. I did not know this about my ex-fiancée. This was very disturbing. She talked about BDSM, all types of stuff. I didn't think she was into that choking and slapping. I even saw something about spitting in each other's mouth. This was freaking disgusting. Why would you want to do this? We've never done things like that. She never even brought it up. Anyway, if she's asking you for open anything, open the door and escort her out. Get her out of your life, please.
Man, she almost got you, dude. Almost. Look, man, OP, thanks for sending in this story. I'm glad you didn't go through with marrying her. And I'm glad you set her father straight. And I'm glad you told him the truth, because she lied. She told her father that you replaced her with another woman that was prettier. Man, I'm glad you called her father and said, let me tell you the truth. Your daughter is actually wasting your money. Your daughter is the reason why we're not getting married. She didn't tell you what happened? Yeah. There you go, man. Smart. But notice the father didn't want to believe it. Oh, my daughter would never. So he went back and asked the daughter, hey, did this actually happen? And she's going to say, no, Dad. Who do you believe, me or him? It's ridiculous. Guys, stay safe. 2025, Happy New Year. Guys, stay safe, okay? No marriage, no relationship. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one. If you want to send in a story, send it to truestorynation@gmail.com. Here, I'll put it on the screen. That's truestorynation@gmail.com. I'm going to catch you guys at the next one.